election day draws nigh, the three-ring campaign media circus continues to give the future of America a carnival-like atmosphere. Each campaign headquarters seems to promise their own version of our e-ticket government, but the only thing certain is that we'll need to fasten our seatbelts because it's going to be a very bumpy 4 years, no matter who is elected. But I have never seen any campaign in my life that has been steeped in so much entertainment-based journalism. This past week, I hope some of you were able to enjoy Good Morning America, interviewing on a daily basis a different candidate's wife. It's kind of wonderful when you know you're deciding your future based on a mentality that includes the battle of the network political wives. Larry King Live has been hosting most of the candidates to do their political forum. Why do we watch Larry King? Because we trust Larry. Why don't we vote for Larry King as president? Because Larry doesn't want to run for office. That would cost him money when he's making money on these great ratings he's getting. Now, more horrifying than that to me was Al Gore on MTV. Without Tipper and without a contents warning label on his forehead. Choose or lose. The Al Gore Forum. That's what we were watching. What was he shooting? A fucking pilot in case things don't work out well in November? It's like he's saying, hey, I didn't get the vice presidency, but I've got a pretty good shot at Bryant Gumbel's job on the Today Show. I mean, are we trying to choose a president here that can get us out of the shit we've concurred for the last 20 years, or are we trying to pick a talk show host with a lot of personality? The best thing for me about the debates was watching the candidates as if they were at some theater audition trying to figure out whether they should sit down or move or do something when they were talking to the real people. And all of these people are talking about Truman. Hey, Truman, Truman. It's not Truman. We're not getting Truman. We're getting FDR. But instead of a fireside chat, we're going to get Clinton unplugged. Now, to borrow a phrase from Queen Victoria, we are not amused. And if we continue to see this whole thing and not see the truth of what is really going on here, we're going to be amusing ourselves to death. I've not been this appalled since I saw Nixon on Laugh-In when he said, suck it to me. Well, not only did the fucker get elected, he socked it to us, and we didn't even get kissed. Statistics, the most recent statistics available now show that we are now having the worst recorded levels in 20 years for weekly earnings, health coverage, child abuse, teen suicide, poverty for the elderly, homelessness, and the gap between the rich and the poor continues to grow and grow until we're left with just two classes. We've been in a constant state of decline, particularly in the 80s, when everybody just had to run around and get raspberry vinegar and buy mushroom brushes. But bottom line I'm saying is America is suffering, and in a very big way. Why? Why? The almighty dollar. The almighty dollar. Our politicians might as well just come out and put a for sale sign in front of the White House. It costs so much money these days to run a campaign. Do you know that they say that to win a seat in the Senate in California will cost the victor $20 million? What this means is that when our politicians are elected, they have no time to govern. They're running around trying to raise money so they can get elected next time. The people with the money to help these people, the only ones with that kind of money, of course, are corporate special interest groups. And they're not really interested in that special thing we call truth. You know, truth, remember that little word that was dotted all through the Constitution? Remember that word, truth? We the people, for the people, by the people? What's happening now is we're becoming we the special interest groups, for the special interest groups, of the special interest groups. It's getting incredible. That's how I feel about that. Truth becomes filtered through what these special interest groups want us to believe is true, while they're dangling that donation in front of our candidates. Now, crash commercialism is everywhere these days, for those of you who went and got a sneak peek at Madonna's sex book. Now, I personally am not offended by the sex book. What offends me is the fact that Bush probably, if he thought it would help him get more votes, would be right in those pages with Madonna, ankles in the air. Whatever happened to offices with dignity, you know, integrity of the office? You know, even Sinead O'Connor decided to apologize in her way about the Pope when those record sales started to plummet. You know, like Tipper Gore, she backed way off her whole thing about the heavy heavy metal lyrics because they're contributing a lot of money to the campaign. Barbara Bush was pro-choice, but she doesn't really want to say anything because George doesn't like it. And of course, you know what happened to Hillary Clinton. She had an opinion and we've never heard her speak again. They just stuffed her back in that cookie jar, but I have to admit, she looks a lot prettier, doesn't she? She's dressing a lot nicer, huh? It's time for us to take a stand. It's time to see the truth of what is happening all around us. We can make a change, and we can't continue to be ostriches sticking our heads in the sand. There's too much at stake. Look at the emperor. He's buck naked, and his name is Bush. Make a change. Vote. Use your mind. Perot is catching up. We're not out of the woods here. Bush could still win. Why? Because Republicans always vote, whether they like their candidate or not. Democrats, they can't make up their mind. They stay home and smoke a joint. It gives me chills that on the final debate, Bush was looking at me in that camera, and he was saying, I made a mistake, but I now need your support, and I ask for your vote. I wanted to say,